Given what happened to Charlie Kirk yesterday, I've been asking myself if we could turn back the clock just an hour before it happened and ask him, hey, would you be willing to change your views if it meant that this didn't happen? And I feel like if we could, he would absolutely change his mind about the Second Amendment if it meant that he got to see his wife and kids again and tell him that he loved him again. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe he wouldn't. But what happened to Charlie is a visceral example of why we should care about what happens to others. Because Charlie didn't have empathy for anyone else. He didn't have empathy for people across the world. He made it very clear over and over again that he thought empathy was something that's the New Age people created and that it was a poison to America. But the problem is, if you don't care what happens to others, those things can happen to you. Now that this has happened to Charlie, now left-wing creators are in danger of this happening to them. This is why we should care about other people, even if they're all the way on the other side of the planet and they don't look or sound like us. Because if you allow a country to starve a population, eventually that country may starve you. If you allow a country to perpetuate violence on somebody else, they may perpetuate that violence on you. If you allow the police to oppress people in your own country, eventually they will use it against you. If you allow your government to do awful things to a certain demographic of people in your country, eventually that could be done to you. And we make excuses like, well, I'm not black, so it doesn't apply to me. Or I'm not Latino, so it doesn't apply to me. It does apply to you, because an injustice against any of us is an injustice against all of us. And this is something Charlie didn't understand, but I feel like, given what happened, if we were able to show him what was coming, he would change his mind. Because we don't care as long as it's happening to someone else that's not us. But then when it impacts us, now we feel differently about it. Now we care. But this is why we need to care now, when it's happening to other people, because who's going to be there for us when it happens to us? If we don't care about what happens to others, no one's going to care when it happens to us, because those people won't be around anymore.